This episode is all about the visuals in Auli, the chair car experience and the beauty sights which comes during the journey from Auli to Nainital and exploring Nainital and its nightlife. In the previous episode, we have explored some parts of the village of Sari and the trekking at Tunganath's temple. Auli is a tourist spot situated near the town named Joshimath and journeys completely through the mountain ranges. The major attraction over here was the 4.5-kilometer cable car operated from Joshimath to Auli, which was the longest one in Asia after the cable in Gulbarg, Jammu Kashmir. But the landslide that occurred in Joshimath in January 2023 made the destruction of the starting point of the cable car and thus it remains non-functional. Another peculiarity about this place is the roads over here. The roads are constructed by the Border Road Organization, as it is not far from the Indo-Chinese border. BRO is responsible for constructing roads near the borders, and in such risky areas, this organization is a part of the Indian military. The town we see down there is the Joshimath, and if we go a little up, we reach Auli. There are parking areas specially dedicated for the tourists coming over here. Now we are at the entrance point of the Auli chair car. Though Joshimath Auli chair car service is non-functional, this is a small chair car facility from Auli and we are going to experience it now. It costs 500 rupees per person for the ticket. And we are moving to the boarding point after getting the pass. Though this chair car is rotating always, we'll get some time to get settled and it's not risky at all. This whole area should have been under the snow by this time, but it's completely dry down here, which makes it not that pleasant. So I'm not showing you in detail. So we have reached the dropping point where we need to get out a bit quicker since it's continuously moving. Though the chair car moving faster from the starting point, it gets slower by reaching the dropping point. Once we reach the dropping point, there's a place named Gorsan Bugyal. We can reach there either by trekking or by horse riding. Since we have had a whole day trekking the last day, we decided to experience the horse ride. As mentioned in the previous episode, this one is a mule, since it is not necessary to have that smartness of the horses as they are obedient enough. People here prefer mules. We reached at the entry point where we need to get the passes. There are boards cautioning the presence of snakes and bears since Gorsan Bugyal is a wildlife sanctuary. It would have been more beautiful if there was snow instead of this dried ambience. Pony ride is also available in the Tunganath's temple, which is provided only during the temple season. Gorsan Bugyal is situated at an altitude of 10,000 feet above the sea level. Though there occurs snowfall in months of January and February, the major attraction here is the greenery after the monsoon. It's a time where we can see some small ponds, streams and flowers blooming. And these are oak trees which are mainly seen in colder places of America and China. There's no fixed charge for the pony ride, but we just need to bargain. They've asked us for 3,000 for 2 person, and after bargaining, they've agreed for 2,000. But if we bargain a little more, we may get it for cheaper price. But if you bring the mule with the intention of taking photos, have a look at the shape and size of the mule, as some mules just look like pure donkeys. This pony ride is not that a good experience actually. If you're riding for the first time, it'll be kind of difficult for the first 5 minutes until you get the balance. Auli is not just about trekking of this mountain, but it is famous for all kinds of snow activities like skating, snowboarding, etc. Since the snowfall is very low, snow-based tourism is not much active now, else the place should have been packed with tourists. We have reached the top and it is crowded enough. Though it seems sunny weather, it is actually cold and all are busy playing in the snow. The snow here is not that cold. We can take it with bare hands. Another thing about Auli is that it's China after those mountains, and we are leaving as we have only 30 minutes to spend here and we have come up on the mule. Actually, it's good to have a pony ride. Don't skip this activity thinking that it is only a matter of short hiking. If you really want to take some pictures, it's actually nice to bring the mule also, as we'll get good photos of riding horses in the snow. We reached down in 20 minutes. This used to be the longest chair car from Joshimath to Auli, which I've mentioned before, and the tourism here dropped half as this chair car was damaged. So we are taking the chair car to reach the valley with the same ticket which we have taken earlier. And the Auli experience is coming to its end now, and we are moving back to our next destination, that is the Nainital. The view from the room which we stay is the most exciting part. This was the best stay for us in the Uttarakhand, and it was a neat and tidy room. That doesn't mean that our other stays were not good, but all the rooms provided in this package was a 3-star category. This is Joshimath town. Though there are cultivating fields on the hillside, it's a military camp and town on the top. Dal is cultivated almost everywhere. Other types of crops are hardly cultivated over here. And the river which flows in between the two mountains is the river Alagananda, one of the major tributaries of the river Ganga. The dinner was ready by the meantime, and I decided to take a look around before the dinner. This is the town which we have seen in the morning. It is filled with lights. Most lights are street lights as it's a military area. We have started our journey in the morning itself. Our first destination today is actually a geographical magic. We are going to see the charming phenomenon of hot water springs in the midst of cold and icy weather. It's very much necessary to see the special natural beauty as it's very rare in the world. It's a 15-kilometer distance to Tapovan, where this hot water spring situates, from Joshimath, where we stayed last night. And this road takes us to the China border through the Nadadevi National Park. During the snowfall season, the roads will be closed. The famous Valley of Flowers is also situated in the same road, and the season starts from September to November. We reached at the Gaurikund, but if we Google for Gaurikund, it shows that Gaurikund, where the trekking to Kedarnath starts, and we need to Google for the hot spring venue to reach here. We need to walk a little to reach to our correct destination. There's a small stream in the valley, and to the excitement we touched the water and it was ice cold. So we walked further, and there it is, hot vapors coming out of a small mountain near the stream. Again I touched to feel the warmth, but it was too hot. It's actually nature's wonder to have two contraries, that is hot and cold at the same place in the same time. And the pipe is connected from the hot water spring to take the water down the streams. Though it gets a bit cooler once it reaches here, it's not hot enough. There are two separate bathing places for men and women, where they can take bath in the natural hot water. So we continued our journey. Our next destination is Nainital, and it's a one-day journey to reach over there. So some of you may feel so bored to see these whole ads, as most of the YouTube ads cannot be skipped. Earlier we had an option to allow only skippable ads during the video, but now there's no option like that. That's the reason why we get unskippable ads in the midst of a story, and we got nothing to do with that. It may be a business method of the YouTube for forcing us to shift to the YouTube Premium. This is river Alagananda, and this river receives the name Ganga once it reaches Devaprayag. And this river originates from the icy mountains of Badrinath. But the river was overflown above that road in North India flood of 2013. The roads here are actually terrifying, and the BRO undertakes the duty of constructing roads in such difficult terrains. That's tunnel in front of us, and the road is under construction as there was a recent landslide. Though there are 5 airports in Uttarakhand, only 2 are open for the common people. One is in Pannagar and the other one is in Dehradun. Both are situated in the both extremes. Though landing in Pannagar airport is easier to reach Nainital and Jim Corbett, it's a small airport and Dehradun airport is the major one. We could see small villages on our way. They follow terraced cultivation as it is a completely hilly area. In the Joshimath, there was only dal cultivation. There are a lot of paddy fields over here. There are haystacks near the houses. Though Uttarakhand is a major tourist place, only a few people know English. 80% of the taxi drivers speak only Hindi. And our driver told us that those children passing 10th standard don't even know how to write their whole address in English. And there are schools which provide high standard education, but the average people cannot send their children as the fees is too high. And the maximum wages for working in fields is just 250 rupees for women and 400 rupees for men. We may feel it like a complete dried area when we see like this, but it's really cold in here. We need to raise our window glass and turn the heater on while traveling in the car. Some fields are already harvested. I've mentioned that Himalayan monal is the state bird for Uttarakhand, and we had seen it from Tunganath. Musk deer is the state animal for Uttarakhand, which is seen in the Himalayan mountains. These deer are widely hunted for making perfume, and therefore they are included in the Red Data book for the endangered species. As they are endangered species, there are a lot of initiatives taken to protect and breed them. And as we are approaching Baijunath, We could see some butcher shops over here. That means we are entering to a non-vegetarian area. We have been eating only vegetarian food for the past 4 days, and it's a different terrain also. This area is full of pine trees for kilometers, and by the evening we have reached at the Baijunath temple. We need to walk through the narrow road to reach the temple. It's river Gomati on the right, and the temple is built on the banks of this river. These small stupas are considered as individual temples, and there are 18 individual temples like this. The historians say that this temple was constructed around 12th century AD. Though there are 18 temples over here, this temple is the major one. And there's a small lake in front of the river, but it's a small check dam built across the river Gomati. So we are moving forward to Nainital, the city of love. The main activity over here is the boating in the lake. So we have decided to have boating first. There are 2 options for boating. One is paddle boating and the other one, a helper accompanies us, and we have opted the second option. It's almost like Ooty and Kodaikanal, where we have similar kind of activities, boating in the lake in the city center. It was in 1839 a British named Baron founded this place and constructed a colony in the European architecture. Nainital town is situated in the foothills of 4 mountains, and its one side is Naina Devi's Bird Conservation Center and the other side is the forest. In between there are many resorts, government offices, and the famous high-altitude zoo is also here. We didn't visit the zoo since we won't be showing any kind of caged and chained animals through our channel. After the boating, we reached back the dropping point and it was 420 rupees for the boarding charge. Though this Nainital is just 6,830 feet above the sea level, it seemed colder than Tunganath, which situates at an altitude of 12,100 feet. And it's 5 degrees at night and 15 degrees during the day. Nainital situates in the foothills of 3 massive mountains named Naina, Dvibada and Aryabada, which makes Nainital a colder place, and the temperature falls to -degree during November and December. And now we're moving to the Nainital Tibetan market, and it's only 1 kilometer from here, and we get a share auto rickshaw which fares only 10 rupees per person. We have reached the market, and I don't like being in the market in crowded areas like this. But we decided to take a look around as my wife insisted me. We get the complete view from here. Though it's evening, there are not enough boats in the lake. There are 2 other lakes which provides boating other than this lake in Nainital. It's a small open stadium here, where some small football matches are conducted, but vehicles are parked here at the stadium right now. There are enough places here to explore for those who love to be in the crowd. Tourism is a major source of income for Nainital, as there are viewpoints, ropeways, zoos, etc. over here. Another thing about Nainital is its city life. We could see the Western culture in their interactions. Earlier, due to the regular traffic blocks, people couldn't walk freely and the shops were compelled to shut down as there were no business. And later, this road was closed and the other side of the road was open for transportation. Thus, this area becomes hustle-free and shops began to reopen. And now it's completely a busy area. And after the walk, we are back at the room. We'll be checking out the room and we'll be heading to Jim Corbett Tiger Reserve tomorrow. There's no need of introduction for this one, so let's meet again in the next episode.